How's it going, guys? My name's Alex, and this is what I think about the job market in 2025. Sorry, this is my first video, and I'm doing it horizontally, so it's a little hard to look straight at the camera without looking at the screen here, but I'll try my best with it. So, does anyone else notice how hard it is to get a fucking job in 2025? It's back in 2023, I'm very charismatic. Back in 2023, I could walk into any job, any low standard ass like U-Haul or whatever it might be, and go in there and get a job the same day. After not working for a few months, walk in, say, hey, what's up? I'm looking for a job, and they really like me, so they hire me based on that, basically. But now it feels impossible. Last year, I got very lucky. I got into a temp agency, and I worked in that job for the whole year. Then I got let go of that assignment, and it's been a few months now. I've been focusing on quitting caffeine, and those I'm going to try to look at the camera here to make it look like I'm looking at you guys, but it's like I might just do this in vertical mode, to be honest with you, because it's a lot easier to focus the camera based on that. But the job market is ridiculous, and it almost feels like it's by design, if they were trying to speed up some kind of market crash or economic collapse, what better way to do so than denying everybody a job and the ability to work, stably, right? Because here's the thing: real unemployment is closer to 20 to 25% when you remove all the bullshit smokescreen factors like, oh, they say unemployment's at 4.2%, but they don't include people who have just given up. They don't include people who've just given up. They don't include people who have who are working unstable jobs, like gig jobs, and they try to count everything. And what it is, it's a smokescreen to make the market look like it's doing better than it actually is, to keep consumer confidence up, to keep the confidence in the market up. So as long as the market keeps going up, they don't give a shit what happens to us. It's fucked up, is what it is. I just had a job interview. I went to this very small shop, and they were like, we're really struggling for workers right now, so we'd be really happy to, we're really glad you filled out this, you handed in your resume. I go into places, I hand in a resume, I hand in a cover letter, and I hand in a fucking business card, okay? And it distinguishes me from everybody else. And then I go and I follow up after that to distinguish me even further, right? So I stick out like a sore thumb to these people, regardless of whether they're hiring people or not, in the hopes of getting something, right? So I'm sorry, guys. I'm stressed out here, so I'm trying to find my words with this. But so I get this call, right, for this phone interview with the first guy, and he's like, my manager wanted me to call you an interview to see if you're a right fit for our company, which is basically gaslighting and saying, are you worth her time to talk to her, even though we're desperate for people right now, And then they're asking me these questions like, what's your availability? And I said, I like working first shift. Oh, well, we're only open from 10 to 8, and those are the only hours you can work. And I said, okay, that's fine, I'll do that. And then after that, though, they're like, we have 6 stores in the area, can you go to any one of them whenever we want you to? You're desperate for people. You need employees, and you want to fucking hit me with that, oh, you want to bend over backwards for us and kiss our ass, even though we can fire you at any time. This is at-will employment. We're not your family, and we're basically, we can just fire you whenever we want, right? Right? And then we're going to make you go to all of our stores. And so here's what you got to do in this situation, okay? Set boundaries. Even if you don't get the job, who cares? You're better off setting boundaries, and that'll actually probably make you stick out even more as a potential candidate. Maybe not, because they like people that kiss their asses for minimum wage, but it's like, so I told them, I'm like, anything that's more than 20 minutes away, I won't do. I just said the answer is no. But anything that's within 20 minutes of my house, I will do. And I was willing to make that concession with them, okay? And then he's like, so, okay, I did your interview. You don't check off any red flags for us, so you should be golden, and you should be getting a call from my manager very soon. I don't set off any red. What do you mean? I gave you a business card. I gave you a resume. I gave you a cover letter. My resume is rock solid going all the way through. I haven't had a job in 8 months, but I do freelancing work, and I told him that, I was like, I do freelancing work to make money, but it's not fully consistent and stable, and that's why I'm looking for something more stable right now. But what the hell, It's like these companies want to bitch that they don't have anyone to work for them, but then they want to put up every single wall imaginable to keep people out. If someone like me can't get a job in this market, I'm sorry to say it, but you're probably fucked. You are probably fucked, because I'm very charming and I'm very charismatic when I go into these stores, right? I'm very good at just putting on that professional looking demeanor, give them a one-page resume, one-page cover letter, business card. Nobody does that. Some people give cover letters too. Most people don't even give resumes, but some people give resumes. Fewer people give resumes and cover letters. Nobody gives resumes, cover letters, and business cards together, though. But you still want to double screen me for this. Another thing I really hate, and this, I went to another place today actually to fill out a job application, and at the very end of it, it's almost like they saved it for the very end of the application. I should have looked through all the papers first, because it would have saved me a lot of time. Consumer background report. I don't mind background checks. I don't mind drug tests, but... And I'm going to branch off here for just a second. If you're on Facebook or any social media, get the fuck off there, like now, because those platforms are not for social media, for socializing with people. They are for collecting your data, collecting all of your data. They know you better than you know yourself. And all that data goes into these consumer background reports. That's why they say the reports are on your credit, and then they say, and your reputation. That's just your personal data. Anything you've done, basically, they can do a fucking background on, like... And it's not like a matter of like, oh, do you have something to hide? Why don't you want it? Bro, you know what it is? It's the idea that it's like Big Brother is watching, kind of, you know? It reminds me of 1984. It's like that totalitarian shit, you know, where it's like, well, we have all of your data, and if you don't like it, well, then you've got something to hide, and we're just going to keep gaslighting you on it, you know, until you come around and you be a good little bitch and you do what we say, okay, bro. So any job with a consumer background report like that, any bullshit like that, it's like, why do you need to know my credit? What the fuck, you know? Like, that's very personal. Those are boundary violations, man. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that boundaries are the most important thing you can have to generate self-respect for yourself. If you can't say no to somebody, you're not going to get very far in life. So you're better off saying no to a lot of these fuckwads and just saying, yeah, I'm not doing that. And I'm not judging the people specifically that I talk to in these places. It's more on the companies themselves, because the people are pretty nice, you know. I filled out this application, and then I saw that, and I said nope, and I went into the office where the manager was. I'm like, excuse me, you know, there's a consumer background report on here, and whenever I see one of those, the answer is just automatically no, and I'm just letting you know right now. I'm just being honest with you. All right, well, thank you, you know, and it's that simple, you know, you just be honest with them. You don't get the job, but how much of your soul are you willing to sell just to survive? That's the real question here. How much of your soul are you willing to fucking compromise just for another week's worth of food? That's the point we've gotten to here. You know, it's ridiculous. This whole job market is nonsense. It's kangaroo nonsense. You know, it's like when people say this is kangaroo court. That's what it is. It's kangaroo fucking nonsense, dude. It's messed up, you know? I mean, like, what happened to the days, you know, not even just the days where you can walk into somewhere and just get a job, just say, I want to work, and you get a job. But what happened to the days where you can just fill out an application and they call you and they say, you know, you can start working for us. Just fill out this app online and then you'll start working. There's so much nonsense in there now. So I think what it is, a part of it, even if it's not some deliberate, weird-ass conspiracy thing, I think it's... sorry, I got a pop-up on my screen there. It's kind of distracting. But what it is, I think it's... lost my train of thought. Shit. So if it's not deliberate... I think, I remember now. It's bureaucratic nonsense. I think the whole system has become so clogged up with bureaucracy and nonsense that everything is about going through, let's file form A10C23D654B, and then we'll refer you to the council of 12, and you can go through them, and then they'll give you form H1S34, you know, that kind of bullshit, you know? Everything is just layers and layers and layers of nonsense. And it's to keep poor people poor. And it's to make middle class people poor. And it's to make everyone poor but the people who aren't poor. You know, I think the best way around this is to find what you're creatively good at. Like you see those pictures there on the wall? I drew those. I'm a very good artist, and I'm also good with like tarot. I'm good with a lot of things, and I think my best bet right now is to just go out and start my own fucking business. But I have no money. That's the thing. I have no money, and I have no means of financing that. But there are ways around that. You know, there are ways to start businesses just by going and doing tarot readings for people and offering. You know, they pay you a little bit. You take donations, and you build up credibility that way. But I'm telling you, it's fucking hard out there right now. Like it. If I can't get a job, good luck. Good luck. I mean, it's hard out there, man. So yeah, I don't know, you know, I don't know what the answer is to all this nonsense, but I just want to give you my thoughts on that. These are the kinds of videos I'm going to do, is my thoughts on things. I have so much shit I could talk about on here, and I'm just going to keep talking about things, man, because it's fun and I like doing it. So you guys have a great day. You guys have a blessed day. I'll say a prayer for you. You say a prayer for me. All right. Bye.